hustle. I came up from nothing. I stack off the muscles to point out the muzzle. If niggas ever try to take me for something, I'm busting. No time for discussion. That slime is disgusting. And nine will be clutching. Your mind will be rushing. I'm busting. Busting and busting. I'm buzzing. I'm grinding and hustling. I came up from nothing. I stack off the muscles to point out the muzzle. If niggas ever try to take me for something, I'm busting. No time for discussion. That slime is disgusting. And nine will be clutching. Your mind will be rushing. I'm busting. I'm Black Guru 616. Nothing changes. I pull that 50 up. You can see I'm raising cane. White girl selling out this world. It ain't Topanga. The day we met, she chose 10 to the perfect stranger. Some niggas seeking power. Other niggas fucking cowards. Them people's cracked the whip. I told them give me 20,000. That's 20,000. Niggas always tell me put my life up in these raps. I know that shit is cap cause niggas hating. That's a fact. See, anything original can have a copycat. For PMG.org, go follow that. See, anything original can have a copycat. P for PMG.org, go follow that.
This is Purp. Welcome to the Purp Show, Season 4, Episode 6. It's your boy Purp, and I got my boy K-Dot with me.
What's
Yeah,
up?
man. So I just wanted to kind of like put this episode out real quick. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be a long episode. It's one of those pre-recorded shits. You know what I'm saying? I got a few topics to go over, and I'm happy to have Kate out here with me to kind of, engage in conversation and stuff like that. Also, merch is available right now. If you didn't know, definitely go check that out. Go check out my store page. You know what I'm saying? I got a bunch of new stuff out right now. Also, if you missed the last episode, which was the Perp Minded 5th anniversary, just celebrating 5 years of the channel, definitely go check that out. That was a really dope, fun stream. Also, make sure you hit these three buttons. One of these three buttons, or hit all three. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button, share, and also if you enjoy the content, hit the super thanks. You know what I'm saying? Since this isn't live, and I appreciate people checking out the content. And yeah, with that being all said, like, how you doing, K Dot?
Doing good. Was supposed to go to work in tonight, but I just felt like taking the day off, and I gotta get the body rested again because I wasn't feeling good these last 2 days. Had a nasty cough.
Yeah, that's nasty. Yeah, the weather's kind of been weird. Like some days it's warm, and then the other days it's just cold as hell. Well, on the East Coast, I don't know how it is over there, but yeah, it just seems like
it's been the normal here. Nothing crazy. Normal weather.
It just seems like this is the time where everybody starts to kind of get some type of sickness and stuff. As soon as the weather and season starts to change and stuff, it seems to happen more often. But to kick things off, you know what I'm saying, I got a little bit of light stuff. Some things that I don't have any letterbox updates because I think I've only reviewed like one new movie so far, but I've watched a bunch of different movies. I just didn't review none of them, so I might just hold off on another update for another time. So, but I will give you some recommendations, some things that I've been checking out as of late. One being a horror movie, or you can call it a thriller, whatever you want to call it. Who Invited Them? That's on Shutter. You should definitely check that out if you're a Shutter. If you're a horror fan, I've always said this. It's just a no brainer. It's just the best value as far as horror content goes. You pay like $5-6 a month, and you just get original content, original series, old movies that it's really hard to find, even through digital or just what I'm saying, like them old horror movies. A lot of like foreign horror movies as well. So definitely check that out. Lost Ollie, that is a really dope 4-part like mini series that you could find on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? If you're a fan of like Homeward Bound or like Toy Story, it's the perfect blend of both of those. The Patient, that's Donald Gleason and Steve Carell. I think that's another mini series that they're doing over there at Hulu, and that's really interesting, having to do with like a therapist and a serial killer, and you can kind of see how that kind of goes. But I really like the pacing of that series so far. Each episode's about like 20 minutes long, so you're pretty much in and out. Um, but the one that I really highly recommend people checking out, the first episode is on YouTube. Just type in Pantheon. Pantheon is a brand new series on AMC that's their first time doing like an animated series, which kind of shocked me. I was like, wow, it's interesting. It's got like Paul Dano and a bunch of other people. Definitely go check that out. I think it's a really interesting series, and it's gonna be. I'm curious to see how that's gonna pick up with a lot of people, because I definitely think it's worth checking out, and I think it has the potential to be a very big series. But these are my recommendations. So, have you been watching anything new as of late?
New. I'm trying to think. Nah, nothing really new. Just been rewatching old stuff. Nothing really new at the moment.
That's cool. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's a new anime I need to start next week, but I'm waiting until tomorrow to start it, so I won't be starting it today.
Okay. True, true. So, continuing with that, with it being September, we're almost at October. We're getting so much horror content. It's ridiculous. I want to kind of go over a couple movies or just some things that I've seen pop up in the news. Um, Trick or Treat. This movie came out back in like 2007, so it's
2008.
2007, 2008, around that time.
Yeah,
But it's
I didn't see it, but I remember that movie. I remember all the trailers and stuff.
yeah. If you haven't
That
seen
was
it,
with the little demonic. That was with like the demonic kids and stuff, right?
uh I wouldn't say that, but definitely go check it out for yourself if you haven't seen it. I think it for me, it's become like it's kind of like a Christmas Story for horror fans, because you know how Christmas Story, they always kind of play that movie like every year. It just almost
Yeah.
becomes tradition. That's what it is for me. Like Trick or Treat is like definitely a modern classic that went under a lot of people's radar and stuff. One, because of Warner Brothers and them not just really having the confidence in putting out this movie, and kind of not having faith in it. This should have gotten released in theaters, but I say all that to say this, that they are going to be putting this out in theaters next month. I don't know if it's going to be a widespread release or if it's going to be limited. So if you definitely see this pop up in like one of your local theaters, definitely go check it out. I'm gonna definitely go try to find a nearby theater so I can check it out, because I've seen this movie like a billion times. It's an anthology movie. It's perfect. It's a perfect movie to watch around this time. Like K Dot, you will absolutely love this movie. Just everything that goes into it. Um, but yeah, that's
Put
what I
it
want to
in.
kind
I'm
of
gonna
let
say.
people know about that.
Let me go ahead and save it in my notes before I forget about it.
Yeah, you can pretty much find this movie like anywhere. You know what I'm saying? you know what I mean. Another horror movie, speaking of which, Halloween Ends. It was revealed like not too long ago, like probably like a week or so ago. Like it feels like a minute ago that this will not only be released in theaters but also Peacock, and it has people kind of scratching their head like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? Like the whole vid and the virus stuff is kind of dying down, so why not put this out and strictly in theaters? But the rumor is that they might have two alternate endings, which would be really interesting. So you have one
for
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 Peacock,
each
and
one.
then yeah, so you'd have
Oh,
sort of like a good ending for like probably Peacock, and then like the bad ending for like the theaters, vice versa, or what. If that's true, that's an interesting way to kind of that's a different way of like releasing things. That makes it kind of more worth it, to put it on a streaming service because then you're like, all right, if you want the alternate version and you want to just stay home, you can watch that. You could gives you an excuse to watch both versions. I think it's pretty interesting. But we'll have to wait and see. Um, are you a Halloween fan, K Dot?
not really. I'm,
But
I'm,
you've
I'm.
seen the movies,
Yeah, I
most of
seen
them.
the movie, but ain't no Michael
Yeah.
fan like that. We we
Which ones
we
have you seen? Just the first one?
I think I seen the first. Was H.O. the one with Buster Rhymes?
I think so. Or
I
I think
saw
that's
the one
my
with
that
Buster Rhymes,
that might be Resurrection. That might be Resurrection. But yeah,
and
it's definitely
I don't remember him
you
very well, but I did see him.
you didn't see none of the new ones that they put out recently, like the 2018 or Halloween Kills.
Nah, I need to watch the 2018 one. I seen
Yeah,
clips, but not enough to like spoil the movie for me. Still, a lot of stuff that I couldn't piece together unless I watched the movie.
right, right. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they wrap everything up, even though they are going to probably come back to the Halloween like universe or whatever. They're gonna come back to these films. They make too much money for them not to. So for them to say Halloween ends is kind of misleading, even though I think it's more so just finishing up Mike's and Lori's kind of storyline and probably giving it
Yeah,
to the
finish
next
up their little
generation.
art.
Yeah. So another horror movie I'm looking forward to that's probably I would say the most anticipated horror movie. A lot of people, if you know about this movie, you know about it. Terrifier 2. The first one came out in like 2016. It almost kind of has this B movie kind of feel to it, like really low budget. This is another one I recommend, K Dot, because like the kills in this, like he makes a lot of other clowns look like nothing, bro. It's just a picture just a clown just not having to say anything, and he just emotes using his like facial expressions and just he almost is like a mime
Yeah,
in a way and stuff. And the kills are just completely brutal. I'm hearing that the runtime for this movie is like an hour. One is like 140, which is crazy long for a slasher. That's over like 2 hours. Like that's insane. But
is this gonna be the final film or like just a second
no,
film?
they say
Trilogy.
that there's like at the end they tease like a third movie, which is really dope. Because the first one I would say doesn't have much of a story, and I think that's on purpose just to kind of set up Art as a character, saying like, because he just pops up, he just like randomly pops up. But the second movie is supposed to dive a little bit more into who Art is, if he's a supernatural being or something like that. So he's another one that's definitely become like a cult classic or just a horror icon over the last few years, just because once you watch the movie, you'll see exactly why um he has the reputation he does. So I'm looking forward to seeing this. Um, Another one is Hellraiser. We get our first look at Hellraiser. I don't know if you're familiar with Hellraiser. Have you watched any of the movies?
I actually need to watch those movies. I always used to see, I know what he looks like and stuff, but I never like watched the movies.
Yeah, I feel you. I was never like a huge fan. Like I've watched Hellraiser 1, 2, and I remember like Sci-Fi used to always put out the like do like little marathons and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I know
this
they're
one
doing. So, is this like a reboot or a continuation?
it's like it's a reboot, but it's more closer to the novels, so that's why you get like a female Pinhead. That's new.
Okay.
Um, how they're gonna go about it, it's gonna be interesting. This is another movie that's gonna be on Hulu. So you got this coming. You got Jeepers Creepers Reborn dropping this month. You got
Hopefully that's good.
yeah, you got Chucky season 2 coming out next month as well. So it's like it's loaded, you know what I'm saying? You got the prequel to X that came out later earlier this year coming this month as well, Pearl. Then you have Barbarian, which I will have a review of that as soon as possible because I'm gonna go see an early screening on Wednesday, so I should have that video up around that time afterwards. Right after I get done the movie or whatnot. But yeah, horror movies is just winning right now. If you're a horror fan, you just there's nothing to really complain about. Like it's just they're over delivering with so much different horror content. So I'm excited. So with that being
Do
out the way,
you
just kind of give you a horror update.
well,
Go ahead.
well, quick question, since October is a month of horror and all that. Do you think Black Adam releasing was like? Do you think it is going to hurt some of these films? Or do you think these films will be fine?
No, no, because also I think if you
Because
kind of
that because
look at
that
it
because that is
technically,
because that is the biggest film in October, Black Adam.
yeah, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And then I'd say next to that would be like Halloween ends and stuff like
Yeah,
that. Um, but no, I think Black Adam is gonna be fine where it's at because it's coming towards like the middle or towards the end of
yeah,
October.
the 21st.
Yeah, so people that aren't into horror, they're gonna go see that, and I think Black Adam's gonna do much better than people think. Because people are kind of fed up with the MCU, and that's another topic that we're gonna save for towards the end and kind of dive into that a little bit deeper. I think people are kind of just looking for another alternative than Marvel. Like people are still gonna watch the Marvel stuff, but I feel like people are really waiting for DC to get their shit together with
Right.
that. But also,
People need something different.
but what I like about Black Adam is like we have not seen the villain at all, the big bad or just the demon guy, whatever. We have not seen him. I've only seen like him in toy figures and stuff like that,
Yeah, we only seen
it's
him in
not
toys, and that's it.
which is not a huge spoiler because we don't know how he's going to show
Come
up in the film.
about or
Yeah.
or you know we just know what he looks like, and compared to how he looks in the comic, he looked like he looks accurate. Like that's how he's
Mhm.
supposed to look. I
And
don't know
that's
how
why
big he
and
finna be, but because it's a toy, you can't really get much of a description
right.
out of it. But
And
he gonna be a
that's
big
what's
dude.
interesting. That's what's so interesting about how they're just like kind of marketing this movie is that they don't know exactly how. Oh, well, not I would say they don't know, but I like that they're taking this approach where they're just giving us the same stuff, and just so there has to be a lot of more surprises in this movie,
Right.
and that's what I'm hoping, and just hoping for a good movie overall. I think it's gonna be solid. I think it's gonna be better than a lot of people expect.
Yeah,
So
quick thing, I've been seeing people complaining about why aren't they showing more, and it's like, I mean, don't you want to be surprised in the movie and not
right,
be spoiled?
exactly. And that's another thing that's like everybody kind of wants like to be spoiled on stuff and just not really be patient. Like people's attention span is pretty short. But speaking about superhero movies, comic book movies, I got to see the Spider-Man No Way Home More Fun edition, and I just want to kind of give you my quick thoughts on it. Is it worth going to the theaters and watching this? I know you skipped out on this. Um,
Yeah, I already watched all the scenes.
yeah, for me, I thought it was cool because one, like I had the AMC A list, so I was just like, why not? Or if you went to go see it yesterday when they were doing the $3 movie tickets, I think it was definitely worth checking out. Because for one, seeing like the scenes and how they kind of play into the actual movie. It's interesting, but I understand why they cut it. You know what I'm saying? Certain things like it wasn't really necessary. It was just kind of cool to kind of see that or see a little bit more dialogue, or some of the fight scenes were a little bit longer. Um, some of the dialogue between Toby and Andrew was extended a bit. But yeah, it but also I like the post credit scene, which kind of pretty much
Broke down the
show
spell.
yeah, it kind of like it kind of shows you it kind of gives you like those like what is it it's like a PowerPoint shit, and it's just like going through all these different memories and stuff like that. But you don't see Peter at any point, so he's pretty much he does not exist to to these people. So that's interesting to me. But I think it's worth checking out if you have like AOC A list, or if you want to go see like a matinee or something like that. Pay full price for it. I don't. That's just up to you. You know what I'm saying? I think it's just something to do because there's not that many movies out right now. Um, or if you don't, or you're not interested in all the different horror movies coming out, then there's an alternative right there, and it's only going to be in there for a limited time. So just wanted to kind of give you like my little 2 cents on that. Next up we got another big piece of news that kind of came out like a while ago. Is the PS5 increasing their prices everywhere besides here in the US. Now this is kind of
Sony wilding,
caused
bro. They
yeah,
wilding.
yeah. You got definitely people defending this, like just you got the ponies, they're gonna defend this, and but if it was Xbox doing the same thing, like it'd be just people would just have their
Everybody be
pitchforks.
bugging. Everybody would have been bugging. But
Yeah,
honestly, how like the PS5 is already like enough of a price where they can profit the way they need to. I understand if
exactly.
they're raising the price because of limited quantity, okay, I can see that. But I'll be honest with you, I wish they didn't push out these PS5s and Series X's like in the middle of the pandemic, because they knew they wasn't going to be able to make what they need to make because this pandemic was going to potentially hurt. I
Mhm.
don't know. They should have held off on these for like another year or two with both these consoles because they struggling with both. With trying to get them out to
Yeah,
people and make them accessible for everybody.
yeah. And there's a lack of content. There's not a lot of exclusives on either side. Like, yeah, PlayStations are gonna get theirs out, but it's still a lack of there. It's just like, and look at
Right?
where
Because
what Halo's going through right now.
I'm not getting my PS5 until the Marvel Spider-Man 2 game drops, and that drops in next year. So
Yeah.
I
And
can wait
that's what I'm
for
saying.
that.
Like they have been they've already been making a profit off these consoles. Like they got to a point where they're making profit, and
Right.
they're charging $70 for games, 75, and they got all these exclusives coming out. So it's like they could still make their money, and them just using the excuse of inflation is just bullshit. Because then why isn't Nintendo doing it? Why isn't it Microsoft doing it? They just want
Right.
to make more money off of you because they know that they can. You know what I'm saying? And it is kind of unfortunate. Like, how you gonna raise the price of something that people can't barely even get? You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make sense. I would have had these complaints if Microsoft would have done it. Even if like Nintendo did, it's like why are you raising the price? You still make money, like hella money off this, off your products. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Right. Because at this point, less people are going to get it. Because technically, with the PS5, I mean, shit, it's the people that tell you, hey, you might as well get a PC. I mean, might as well at the price what the PS5 is giving you. You can go and buy what's the price now? Like 800, 700.
If it's scalped, yeah. If you get it scalped, yeah, it's like
Yeah, like
you can
for
probably find it
800.
for like six. Like it probably goes up now. Like now, like the scalpers see that the price is going up. They'll probably charge even more now.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and with
saying?
the current price of the PS5, you can go to Best Buy and get like a pre-built, gaming PC. Not the best one, but you can get a pre-built gaming PC that can play the games that you want them to play. I'm
Right.
not saying that I'm not using that as a way to get people to go buy a PC, but it's like
Yeah.
Consoles is affordable, and they're affordable, and uh and
Limited.
they're yeah, they're affordable, limited, and they're also the best way for anybody to play games and stuff. But if these
It's plug and play, like
plug and play, and
same
if you
PC.
finna get if you get in a PC, I mean, at this point you might as well buy a PC, because it's like shit, you can play all those games on PC.
Yeah, and all those PlayStation games are going to come to play PC eventually. So it's like
Yep.
it's interesting. It's really interesting. I don't think this will have an effect on their bottom line unless if Microsoft should have capitalized on this, and they might do that during the holiday season, is to really cut the price down, like from the Series X to like 400, and then like you cut down the Series X to like Series S to like 250. That'd be perfect. You know what I'm saying? And you bundle games with it and stuff like that. Give them Game Pass, and you know it's just gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. I just wanted to kind of talk about that briefly, but let me know how you guys
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
about.
Right now for the Series X and S, they're more affordable.
Yeah, and you can find more. I see more Series S than I see X's everywhere. So
Same,
I I
especially in
I still haven't.
at my Best Buy. It's pretty much more Series S's than there are X's, but they got them right behind the counter, so you can only get them from behind the counter.
Which is smart. People out here crazy and wilding for these consoles, but yeah, man. Let me know how y'all feel about PlayStation raising their prices in other countries besides the US, even though some people will say like, "Oh, it has nothing to do with me," but that's not like the point. It's the principle of it. It's just like doesn't make sense. Anyways, let me know. So next thing I got is, will House of the Dragon be better than Game of Thrones? Now I've watched 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, and it's pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people liked it. It's done really good. I think they got like what 20 million viewers combining both episodes.
Yeah,
Both
episodes 1 and 2.
definitely performed well, better than people expected. Some people thought like nobody cares about Game of Thrones anymore after season 8, and I knew that was going to be capped because people, you know, as big as that show was, people are still hungry for new Game of Thrones type of content. My thing is, well, I'll probably wait till the next topic to kind of talk about that. But how do you seen both episodes, right? How do you feel about it so far?
I like it so far. It's a more self-contained Game of Thrones, right? And I
Hmm.
think that's what I like about it so far. There's already two characters I mess with, Damon and Rhaenyra, the daughter. You know,
Yeah,
I'm not. I ain't feeling that dad though. He kind of he's kind of
give you
soft. So I don't know about
like
that
Ned Stark,
dad.
like some Ned
Yeah,
Stark shit.
he
Yeah.
got that Ned Stark in him, a little soft, but I like it so far. I like that it's kind of a little bit more contained. Because with Game of Thrones, it was like this big. They was leading up to something big, and also you have so many different characters you bounce around each episode in this show. But in House of Dragon, it feels more self-contained, and it's just focused on House Targaryen, showing us,
Yeah.
like how House Targaryen ended up being their own downfall.
Do you think that might be too much of an issue of them trying to lean too much into trying to be Game of Thrones and not House of Dragon? Like my thing is just like when you make a prequel, I still want it to kind of have its own identity, but still kind of fit in with the universe or whatever they're trying to build. My only issue or my thing is like my worry is they'll try to just do too much of the same shit because we already know like this is all about the throne. Like that's kind of like the appeal and like the political stuff. That's interesting, but it's just like we kind of saw that already with Game of Thrones, and it's not for me. It's just not as special anymore. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about it as
Where
much.
Game of Thrones messed up at was like the person we was hoping to get the throne got the throne, but that soft ass Jon Snow and shit. stabbed his
Yeah.
queen, whack ass motherfucker. That's why he got banished. But it was just under like that when they got to the finale of Who Got the Throne. It was just underwhelming because Drogon just burns the throne and nobody sits on the Iron Throne. It's like that's it. Like we waited 8 seasons to get see nobody sit on it.
Yeah, for nothing. It's all for
You know,
nothing, really.
and in this, like the biggest like thing they're focusing on is like this female princess. In general for the House Targaryen, no woman is allowed to sit on the Iron Throne, and it's
Yeah.
basically just is Rhaenyra going to take this throne? Is she going to do what she need to do? Like, what's up? I
Yeah.
think she's going to
And,
get it personally, but I feel that it's going to be through a lot of like snake stuff. Especially I feel like the brother Damon is going to do something dumb to jeopardize a lot of things with what they're trying to set up with him and the black dude who's running House Viserys.
yeah. But also another thing is interesting is like there's so many time skips we're getting in this. We already got like a time skip from episode 1 to 2. Now 2 and 3, it's going to be a much bigger time skip. So they're kind of speeding through this along, and then like we're eventually going to get
Yeah. I
the
wasn't even
adult
aware of
versions.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware of the time skip. So when does the time skip happen?
There's a time skip from episode 1 to 2. That's like it's like he mentions like it's only been not even 6 months since his wife died.
Yeah,
So there it goes to 6 months, and then like the next, if you look at episode 3, you look at what's her face's brother. He's damn near like a toddler now. So
right.
it's like, damn, they don't they're so it's gonna be like I think there's gonna be like 10 years worth of like time skips throughout this shit, like to get them to their adult uh counterparts and stuff like that. Because they're gonna
Yeah,
age a lot of the
and if that's the case, I can really only see this show going for like one season. Like I feel like this show just gonna be one and done this season.
no, it's
Because I
definitely not gonna be one. They already confirmed the second season, but I could see it going like maybe 4 or 5. Like they'll probably just push 5 maybe at the max.
four max. I'm betting four max. It ain't gonna go like 8, because eventually you're gonna have to like get to uh the start of Game of Thrones if gonna stretch this like as long as Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So it
Because
seems
it's
like they're
only
gonna
127 years apart. You can only go so far with this little gap in the story.
yeah, and I think they're gonna just talk about all the different Targaryens and stuff, and we might get Aegon like the Mad King and stuff. It might end like that, which would be cool. Um,
See, Jamie assassinated.
I wanted to, that's the kind of
Last
storyline I wanted to
episode,
kind of see,
Jamie.
like just what I'm saying. I want to see the reign of the Mad King, like how he just descended into madness. But I think that would been a little bit too closer to like Game of Thrones. But anyways, next we got the Battle of Fantasy. House of Dragons versus the Rings of Power. This is a really like if you're a fantasy fan right now, like this is like really dope that you get to see not only or like House of Dragons, Game of Thrones, you also get Lord of the Rings going at the same time, which is really dope to me. You know what I'm saying? But
So
these
far, I'm
are
liking. So far, I'm liking House of Dragon more so far, mainly because the cast.
yeah, I feel you. I feel you. I'm on the other side. Like I kind of like Rings of Power a little bit more, and let me explain why. For people that think that I just hate Game of Thrones, which I don't hate Game of Thrones. I don't like Game of Thrones like that. I'm not like a big fan, but like I can appreciate the world building and the characters and stuff like that and what's good about Game of Thrones. I acknowledge what's bad because I saw the down like after season 4, I saw the downfall of fucking Game of Thrones. Like everybody saw that at that point, saw the downfall of it if you were really paying attention. But my thing is and it shows in the 2 episodes I saw of Ring of Power, right? Rings of Power, that the world of like just Token and just and Lord of the Rings is just so massive. It's like playing an open world game. You go to all these different locations and stuff like that. Where compared to Game of Thrones, it's very linear.
Yeah.
Westeros is a big ass place, but we only go to like select places. It's like, and I think that's another gripe I have with House of Dragons. Is it just feels like more of the same. Like we're stuck in like the same kind of spots. We don't go to no new areas or nothing like that. Which it could change. We could go see different spots. Give me a second.
Right, because at most in Game of Thrones, when you went to like Danny's side of things, you saw more of the world.
Hmm.
You saw different looking people, different cultures, and I'm not just saying like a race thing, but like you saw different, you saw some brown people, some you saw different shades of people whenever you was
It's
on
everything.
Daenerys side of the world. Like she showed you more, and even
Yeah.
remember that episode with Jorah when he went to that place to fix his. Remember he was finding those people that if they touch you, you turn to stone and you start to get sick.
Yeah.
We saw those people. Like we saw a wide array of people on Daenerys side, but you go to Jon Snow, he's over here just stuck in the snow, chilling. You go to Cersei, she in King's Landing, very stuck in like one general place.
Yeah. And what with both things, one thing that like kind of irks me about both of these shows though is the dialogue. The dialogue can really just drag the fuck on like sometimes, and it's like, okay, bro, I get the point. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I understand it's trying to fit like the tone and just everything about the show and stuff like that, but it's just like it's the stuff that kind of kills me. And that's why I think these shows work better when you binge them, because it's like it's easy to lose interest in just one episode. I could see a lot of people losing interest in Rings of Power, but what I like about it, it feels more adventurous. Like we go on adventures in Lord of the Rings. You know what I'm saying? They go on quests and stuff like that, and like I said, I like seeing all these different areas and just that like opening scene, kind of breaking down the history real quick of like just Middle Earth and stuff and just how big it is crazy. But I also understand why some people don't like Lord of the Rings, because a lot of characters do have plot armor and stuff like that. Where in Game of Thrones, you could
Characters,
pretty much die just making the wrong
anybody
decision
can
and
get
shit.
it.
Yeah,
Unless
but
you
even
unless you Jon unless you Jon Snow, you might get revived though.
yeah, even though the later seasons they kind of messed up with that, with just having too many characters have plot armor and stuff, and obviously it's probably going to change going with House of Dragons, because most of those motherfuckers are all dead and stuff like that. But it's like I think it all comes down to preference. You know what I'm saying? I think you could like both. You could enjoy one more than the other. I think they're both interesting shows. It's interesting that both are prequels as well. So, you know, let me know in the comments below, what do you prefer? Do you prefer House of the Dragons so
Well,
far,
with
or
the
Rings of
diff,
Power?
I think with Rings of Power, this one's not even really based off any books. Well,
No,
House of Dragon is based off a book.
no, Rings of Power is based off like the source materials, that they're just tweaking certain things and whatnot. Like, um, you said you saw both episodes, right, of Rings of
Yep.
Power? So, cause shouts
The
to
only character
what's the
the only character I mess with so far is that Black Elf.
yeah shouts to Emergency Awesome, because like I kind of watched his breakdown and kind of like got me more excited for Rings of Power, just because like not Game of Thrones, but Lord of the Rings has that like cosmic side to it as well. With like Gandalf and breaking that down. I don't think that dude that fell from the sky is Gandalf, but he might be a part of that. You know,
He might be a
uh,
wizard.
yeah, he might be a part of that big five, whatever the hell I forget what they're called or whatnot. And we still don't know who Sauron is, like who's actually Sauron. He hasn't popped up yet. So there's a lot of interesting things going on with both shows. You know what I'm saying? I just hope that with the time skips with House of Dragons, they can execute that really well because that can make or break your show. You know, that can really lose people. Like, why are we jumping all over the place and stuff like that? Um, I just wanted to kind of break out from the Game of Thrones mold and kind of just be its own thing. I know that kind of sounds sounds weird to some people, but I'm pretty sure people will see what I'm saying. Like after the first season, if it has its own kind of identity, but still can be it could still fit into the Game of Thrones universe and stuff that they're building up and whatnot. But yeah, that's just like my quick little take. Let me know how you guys feel about Rings of Power and House of the Dragon so far. What don't you like about one? What do you like about the other, vice versa? Let me know all your thoughts. Now, next, continuing with Warner Brothers and stuff like that. I wanted to talk about this on the last episode, but didn't really get the time to talk about these last topics. But then we're gonna get into the last thing about She-Hulk and whatnot. So stay tuned for that. Let's talk about Warner Brothers and HBO Max. Is Warner Brothers doomed? You know, with all it seems like every week or every day we get some type of bad news with Warner Brothers or something with HBO Max. They're pulling something off and just with Zaslav and just really shaking things up. And I made a video about it, and maybe he's trying to play the long game, but at what cost? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Because I understand why he's cutting down content, right? He's trying to he's trying to kill some of that debt that they got, right? But this is the thing. Someday they could pay off that debt. I highly doubt they will. Most people can barely pay off their student loans, and most times they do get paid off is when they die and they get absolved of it. Like whatever he's doing now, trying to get rid of all that debt. Trust me, it ain't gonna be he ain't going to be taking out that debt anytime soon. I just feel like in the long run, right? This is going to make creators shy away from like wanting to work with Warner Brothers, you know, because look at what they did with Batgirl, right? I don't know if the movie was going to be good or bad. I don't know, but all I know is this: they cut a movie that's literally was halfway being done.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not like they
crazy.
cut it before the movie was in the scripting phase. They literally cut a movie that's halfway done. That's insane.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't really quite make sense. Like when you look at it now, it just looks like what is Warner Brothers doing? They're like destroying their brand. And maybe we have to see more results. Like after the dust kind of settles, we got to see what movies they put out, what shows they put out to get a better direction.
Right.
And we probably won't see that until like after the Flash and all that. They can kind of get past that because once they get past 2023, I think when we see 2024 and beyond, we'll get a better sense of what direction they're going. It's not looking good right now in the as far as just like you said, it's kind of turning people away. You saw was it not Lionsgate, but
Legendary Studios.
yeah, Legendary. They were saying like, oh, we might go somewhere else. We might go to Paramount, and we might go here. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's really interesting to me about this whole streaming war and just content war and just like how quickly things could change. You know, in such a rapid rate. You know what I'm saying? And that leads into the next thing I wanted to kind of talk about is just the future of the streaming wars. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna what is the streaming war gonna look like by the year like 2023? Who's going to still be on top and who's going to be probably non-existent? Because there's definitely going to be. I definitely think that Warner Brothers is going to be around. You know what I'm saying? I think that's safe. I think Netflix is safe, and I think it's still going to be Disney and like Amazon. So
Well,
it's
H- HBO Max is taking some hits right now and stuff. So, and until and this is why I say they have some content that they could have waited until 2023 to put on their own service, like that Batman animated show.
yes.
Hopefully, Hopefully by the time 2023 comes, Discovery is going to be smart and puts all that original HBO content they had back onto that streaming service, like because they're gonna need that Wire on there, Oz, the leftovers. They're gonna need some stuff because what
Yeah, all that
Discovery
stuff is
brings,
safe. I think it's
well,
mostly like just the HBO Max content that they're.
and a lot of that was good content. That's what I'm saying with the Discovery stuff. Since they're gonna combine it, they I'm because I'm telling you the way Zaslav is treating the Warner Brothers creatives, like he should chill because honestly, they're the ones who's gonna bring him the best content, not that Discovery stuff. Ain't nobody
Right.
checking out no Discovery stuff like that. Nobody's watching 90 Day Fiance besides. And I got to be honest, old ladies, some women. Not saying women aren't good for but let's be real. Who's watching 90 Day Fiance? There ain't nobody
And LB is shouts to LB.
like no fresh young subscribers is gonna be watching that stuff from Discovery. They here for the Warner Brothers stuff, not that Discovery stuff. Because all the Discovery
Right.
stuff I can watch on YouTube for free.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
You know,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. So it's
Okay.
gonna be interesting. Also, with all these like different streaming services, like introducing an ad tier, I don't think that's gonna change anything. It might just make it more accessible for people and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's just I think it's gonna be interesting to see how all plays out and how much Netflix is gonna be in the next 8 years and how much Disney Plus because they definitely gonna be jacking up these prices sooner than later. You're starting to see
Yeah.
it with Disney Plus and stuff like that. But yeah, it just leaves the door open for like up and coming streaming service. Like I think Apple TV Plus is probably the most interesting one. They got a lot of interesting content coming out on that. Which should be weird to see that Batman animated series on there. I could see it going to Netflix. I would want to. I would probably put my money on it ending up on Netflix just because Netflix already has like a relationship with DC content. Like you got the Sandman. I don't know if you could consider Sweet Tooth is technically DC. It comes from that like
Yeah, it's DC, but I think it's DC like Vertigo stuff.
yeah.
I don't think it's like main like DC Prime Earth content.
So if that's their plan is like taking some of their more weird, obscure DC Vertigo type content and just putting it on Netflix, that makes sense. And they probably wanna like it's probably to create less confusion. Maybe I don't know. They're having all this different Batman stuff and DC stuff, like kind of make it separate. Like, all right, so we're only gonna have like the Reeves Batman stuff and the DCEU stuff that's on HBO Max. So anything else like animated will go somewhere else. But it's still kind of like it's kind of a dumb idea because if someone like Disney gets their hands on it and ends up on like Hulu or something like that, that will definitely look kind of crazy on their part. So we'll have to wait and see. So let's get to the last topic that I have, and this broke the internet. This has a lot of grown men that probably never gotten coochie or never saw a fat ass in their life just kind of have a complete meltdown. Let's talk about the twerk that was heard around the world. You know what I'm saying?
God dang.
Yeah, it's She-Hulk, man. She-Hulk episode 3 has a lot of people in their feelings. Some people have like um actual criticism of the episode. Some people are just like turning this whole post-credit twerk thing into something that it's really not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about She-Hulk so far in this scene?
For me, I don't dislike the show. It's just that the show's not picking up. That's my biggest problem. Nothing ain't really picked up. They set up a new villain that's trying to get Jen's blood, which I have an idea of who it may be, but I don't know for
I think it's
sure. They
Val.
could talk about. Nah, I think he might be the leader from the Incredible Hulk. Remember the guy in the first movie that was stealing
Oh,
Bruce's bad
Abomination?
Bruce's blood? Not Abomination. Remember that that nerd. who Bruce was sending his blood to, and he mass produced it.
Now I gotta go back and rewatch that because I do not remember that guy.
Yeah, I that guy supposedly was supposed to be the leader, which is a Hulk villain. So maybe it might be him. I don't know. I heavily doubt it. I feel like they're about to, pull the old MCU uh pull the MCU what's that term?
I forget, but
Ba- 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 Basically, I feel like they about to bamboozle us, and it ain't finna be what it
okay,
should be, or what we think it's gonna be.
it could
But
be
yeah,
Kingpin. I could think it could be as simple as Kingpin, like because it seemed like Kingpin would want something like that, or his own version of like a Hulk or something like that, or they might have some other plans for that blood.
but
Um,
yeah, I mean, and so far in these first few episodes, the only thing they set up is like, okay, we know people after some people after Jen's blood, and other than that, it's just filler. But for me personally, I just wish the show was a lot more fun because the show was supposed to be a comedy. It is a
mhm.
comedy, but when I watch the show, it just feels like a show with comedy in it. Like if you watch the first
Yeah,
episode, it has comedy in it, but each scene ain't funny like that.
yeah,
Like
and I
if I'm
and I,
like if let's say if I was watching Everybody Hates Chris, I'm probably gonna be laughing every single scene at
yeah.
everything they do. With this show, I mean, I ain't, I'm not laughing
Yeah,
like that.
they try to take the sitcom approach with this, and I kind of understand it. And it wasn't until the second episode where I understood. Okay, this is what they're trying to do with the humor. They poke fun at themselves, which I kind of like. Um, the first three episodes, like it doesn't take itself serious, like, and I don't take it as serious because I know with this being 9 episodes, they're definitely going to drag some things out, which why I keep telling people binging is much better. Especially in this case. Like if they were to put all of She-Hulk's episodes out right now, I think it would probably people will still complain about some certain things, but at least we can get to our destination and we don't have to wait like till the last like 2 episodes, 3 episodes for some shit to pop off. You know what I'm saying? The first 3 episodes were definitely just kind of like an introduction, how She Hulk reacts with her powers and stuff like that, and I hope there is like a tone shift coming up and whatnot. And I think everybody's just waiting for Daredevil at the same time too. So I just think overall people are just overreacting to this whole twerking thing, acting like Marvel hasn't done goofy shit like this. DC has also done goofy shit. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody does goofy shit. It was just meant to have fun. It's nothing like too serious. I could definitely see people just being annoyed. They want more serious. They want Marvel to kind of take itself more serious. But I'm okay with this because let there be these types of shows, but then also there be shows like Falcon and Winter Soldier that kind of takes itself more serious and stuff. Like if we get Daredevil in this and he's a little bit more lighthearted and stuff, that's fine. Let it just be lighthearted for the show. But when he's in his own show, let that be Daredevil, that gritty shit, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what they're kind of trying to go for. It's not gonna hit for everybody. I understand that. I just think that with this whole twerking shit, it's just completely been blown out of proportion, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. People like for me personally, right? And just the show does have a female empowerment aspect to it, which I don't got no issue with. Every show has some type of social thing with it. Now, for me personally, I was totally fine with the twerking scene. Hey, sign me up for She-Hulk throwing it back on
And Meg,
camera in front of everybody. I ain't tripping. And Meg too. I will take it.
see now that
But
if Meg was shaking ass like that, he got close up. Then you have to definitely slap a TVMA on that joke because that
right
shit's too crazy. Like that,
now,
motherfuckers wasn't ready for that. Like,
and for me, right, I think the scene. And either way, people still would have complained about it regardless. They still would have complained about it. But I think for me personally, the scene would have worked better if, like, okay, instead of it being in the workplace, Jen and Megan, let's say they working on a case and they're at home. They're at home, they're
yeah, I can say
tired,
that.
and then
I
and
agree with
then
that.
and then and then She-Hulk, She-Hulk just randomly turns on one of Megan's songs to get her to dance and stuff, and then they start doing their thing in the privacy of their own home. Because if the show's about female empowerment, this scene, the way they showed it, it's like twerking in the workplace. Ain't nobody finna take you serious. That's not.
Mm-hmm.
If women want to be taken serious, that's not the way. Women get taken serious. Twerking in the workplace in front of everybody, throwing that
I
booty
could,
back.
and I could see that being a huge complaint because like that's one of the big themes about She-Hulk is like she's about to be supposed to be about female empowerment, and there hasn't
Right.
really been any of that. And maybe like I said, they're gonna save that to like the second half of the show. You know what I'm saying? Who knows
Yeah.
though? That's just like I just wanted to kind of talk about that for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's like the last thing I wanted to talk about. I appreciate K Dot pulling up. You know what I'm saying for this episode of the Perp Show. You got anything you want to plug?
Nothing to plug. I mean, my Game of Thrones review probably coming Sunday. Don't know when Perp's gonna drop this, but Game of Thrones episode 3 review will be happening the same day the show comes out.
True. Yeah, I'll be dropping this episode as soon as possible. As soon as I can, you know, get this going and get it this will be up as soon as possible. So I appreciate the people that checked this out, checked out the replay or whatever, tapped on, you know what I'm saying? That's been just rocking with me, just rocking with the Perp Show. I can't wait for y'all to see what I got coming for the Perp Show Awards. That's gonna be a big, big, big deal this year. It's gonna be much better than last year and previous years. I definitely want it to be the best that it could be. Episode 7, that's gonna be out. I'll probably wait a couple weeks and whatnot. That'll probably be out towards the end of the month to get that out for y'all as soon as possible. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate K Dot pulling out for this episode. I will have to see y'all in the next one because I gotta go do some things and whatnot. But you know what I'm saying? I appreciate people checking this out. Make sure you hit that like button. If you're brand new and it's the first time you ever checked out one of my streams, man, hit that sub button, man, because I got shit ton of content coming for the rest of the year. You don't want to miss out. So until next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.